Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Wow Factor. Today, we are talking to women for widen the opportunities in Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar. And today, we have with us Mrs. Nirupama Bafna, who is a prominent personality in the field of education. She is also a BCom Honors Gold Medalist, and we are very happy to have you here, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
And this is also a very special podcast, I think, because this is a mother daughter duo podcast.
Yeah.
So I would love to show you all the journey that I have seen firsthand. So, ma'am, growing up in a Marwari household, what inspired you to become a lifelong learner?
So in a Marwari household like ours, like my parents' place, it was always this that we were surrounded by the values, we were surrounded by the culture and the Indian tradition. And my mom always used to tell me that keep on learning. Every day is a new learning. And my father often said that seek to learn something new every day. And this is how it became my lifestyle. So lifelong learning is not about any habit, but it's basically a way of living.
That's amazing because I think that has completely shown the way you live your life today. My next question to you would be that after you got married, how easy or difficult was it for you to start something of your own?
So again, I was married in a Marwari family, and as we all know that in Marwari families, it's very difficult for ladies, and in a family like ours, it was very difficult for me to come out of that, household chores and everything. And then, but yes, I convinced my mother-in-law, and she always permitted me to do anything of my choice. So it became very easy for me, and I started with my painting classes. I was very passionate about paintings. And I used to do a lot of oil paintings and I started taking classes as well. But then what happened was that I developed a very severe cervical pain. So I had to stop my paintings and then that was a time when my brother inspired me to start exploring something in education because I was very passionate of teaching my daughter, that is Muskan here, and I used to teach her like with my whole hearted. And he said, okay, let's start something in education. And then he suggested me to take Learning Pitara franchisee, which is a Bombay-based company. And yet it clicked me. And I took the Learning Pitara franchisee and then I started it. So I thought I would start it with 10 kids. But then I it was to my amazement that for my first batch, there were 24 kids.
And I was the lucky one in those 24 kids.
Yeah. And that was the point when, I started my journey of education and then later it went on.
Amazing. So, how did Evolver's Nest come into being? Like, was it something overnight or did it take time? What was the ground basis behind Evolver's Nest coming into being?
So I started with Learning Pitara. My 24 kids grew from 24 till like they grew to 240 kids. And then, yes, what came into my mind is that, yes, I can do something in the education field. I can do something big in the education field. So I thought of starting the school and we had space, we had all the amenities and everything. But yes, again, I had to convince my in-laws for that because already 250 kids are learning Pitara and every day I was out. And then again with the school, then every day I would have been out. So I convinced my father-in-law for that. And he gave me the place and everything. And that point, I thought I would start the school just very small, just with the 6 rooms we started. And we inaugurated the school. I thought only 30 kids would come. Let's start it. But to my amazement again, I started with 60 to 70 kids. And today we are 350 plus kids in the name of the Evolver's Nest Preschool.
That's superb. I think that's a 8x, 10x growth in the last 8 years. You keep talking about how you had to keep convincing your in-laws. So how did you manage keeping them happy while still doing something of this scale? And how do you manage your work life?
So I always see that in a Marwari families like us, it is very difficult. There's a lot of guests around and you have to serve and you have to have a lot of household chores also. But I convinced my in-laws that yes, I would be balancing both. keeping them happy. It is not that I'm walking out of the house just to accomplish my dreams, but it was just that I have kept in balance both, that is my house, my kids, and the family, and of course my work. So whenever the family is a priority, I'm present there. And when the school is a priority, I'm present there. But in this, let me tell you, there was a lot of support from my family which has come. Also, over the period of time, it is not just in a day or two that the support has come. But yes, over a period of time, even the family realizes that yes, she's doing a wonderful job. So let's support her. And I would, suggest all the youngsters that the support does come. It's not overnight. It just takes time. So little have patience.
That's a great learning from me, for me as well. Um, I think the next question is, in the Evolver's Nest, what is your motto? What is the thought behind it? And what are we trying to accomplish there?
So what I was seeing in today's artificial intelligence era is that kids are learning a lot. They are all Gen Z kids and they are doing wonderful. But the Indian culture and tradition is not there anywhere. So my whole vision behind the Evolver's Nest preschool was to make the kids bold and confident by giving every child the opportunity to shine on the stage. But yet they should be deeply rooted in our Indian culture and tradition and values, which we often do it like we do Ram Leelas, we do Ganpati stories, and we do shlokas, we do Shiv Tandav Stotra. And this is how they know about our Indian culture, which is slowly vanishing, but we have kept it alive. Man, my kids, they are just doing Hanuman Chalisa. They know about Mahabharata, they know about Ramayana, and they know about the Shravan Kumar stories. They know about Harishchandra stories, which none of the kids otherwise would have known. But a lot of kids now, they know about the Harishchandra and Shravan Kumar stories, which will, their tradition, which will improve their sanskars, you can say.
Amazing. So you said you started with 60 students and you've now gone to 350. I'm sure there has been an operational challenge, a strategic challenge in giving each child the same kind of quality. So how do you tackle that, and how have you tried to improve over these years while keeping each child as the center?
So yeah, I started with only 6 rooms, and I was supposed to start with only with only playgroup and nursery, where Mr. Ranjit Das, the principal of Nath Valley School, he motivated me to start with junior KG and senior KG as well. So for the first year, I started with all the 4 classes, and I had 60 kids at that time with the 6 rooms. And in the senior KG, I had 13 kids, which was great to my amazement. And yes. So there were a lot of, slowly and gradually people started to know that there's not a lot of culture. People started to know the value, what the Indian tradition and culture will give to the kids. Academics is one part, they will do everything. But the Indian tradition and culture were deeply rooted. And start with the Grandparents' Day. I'll say it in this way, that in the Grandparents' Day, I started with the feet touching by the kids. So that really touched the parents. So we never advertised for our school. We never did any kind of, hoardings or anything. But that was word to word mouth publicity, which went on going. There were a lot of struggles. We had to make new rooms again and increase day by day. So in the holiday times, a lot of construction used to go. So with one building, now we are having 2 buildings. And we are having 3 sections of playgroup, 5 for junior and senior and nursery. And we have grown. So that is how it is.
So you've grown from 60 kids to 350 kids, as you said. How have you kept each child as the center and given the same quality to every child through these years? Or has it been an operational challenge where you're not able to provide the same? Or is it that you've been able to?
So from 60 kids to 360 kids, I have grown. And in our school, like the vision behind the Evolver's Nest is this, that every child should get the opportunity to shine. So in every class, we give them the stage to perform. So like maybe in nursery, every child will have the fruit and vegetable day, wherein every child will come on the stage, speak on the mic, It is not that one child is speaking, two kids are anchoring, and the rest are just doing the group performance. No, it's not like this. Every child is getting the stage. Again, in the junior KG, we do maybe some animals day or any event. But yes, for senior KG kids, as they are going out, as is a preschool, and they go to the bigger school, so every child should shine on the stage. And then comes the annual day. So on the annual day, if I have 100 kids in the senior KG also, they will all perform on the stage. We do the anchoring in such a way that each and every child should get at least 4 or 5 lines to speak, whether the child is fumbling, whether the child is not confident, whether the child is stammering. So yes, every child gets the opportunity. So from the last year, initially we used to do it, okay, the confident kids will come before and maybe, then everyone will come. For the last year, I've started it, it's okay. So we just take out the lucky draw and any child for the welcome speech and any child for the school report and any child for the anchoring. So this is how we give every child to shine. And that is what I think, USP of the Evolvers Nest Preschool.
That is amazing because I think the schools that I've seen, they are not able to achieve this thing that we have been able to achieve in a preschool. My next question, I think, would be around 350 kids is not easy to manage. I'm sure you have a huge team who is behind this, but managing the team by itself is also another task. So what is the strength of the school look like? How many teachers do you have? How many maushis do you have? How do you keep all of them on their toes? How do you manage all of that? I think managing so many people at once alongside the home is amazing. And I would love for you to shed some light on that.
So we have a team of 40 teachers and we have 20 maids and 5 of the watchmen. It's everyday struggle with them to make them work. But yes, believe me, once they see me working with heart, my each and every teacher believes that the child is their own child. What they will do for their own child, what we will do best for our own child, the same we are doing for the kids who are coming in our school. So the whole team, whether it is maids or whether it is watchmen, they believe that every child is my own child. And that is what the vision behind the Evolvers Nest is. And yes, of course, I would like to mention here that from this year, my daughter, of course, even she was too motivated by the education she saw in me. And at the COVID times, when everything was shut down and we started with the online schooling. So that time she was doing architecture and she helped me with all the online schooling. And she felt that education is so much fun. And she left the architecture and she has done her master's in education at Harvard University. And today she is with me. So we have a good bonding and this is how we keep our team going.
Absolutely. I think your passion kind of flows into everyone who is around you, including myself. And I wouldn't have been where I am if it wasn't for you. Your struggles, your beliefs, your passion, it just shines through each room, each class. And I am very lucky to have seen it every day.
I tell you here that the school is not school for me. It is a temple. So it is the place of worship for me. Every corner has my heart in it. So the school is something which is really very close to my heart.
Amazing. And that's how it should be. Like, if we differentiate between work and passion, then there is a problem. But if it's the same, I think those people are the most successful. So, ma'am, you, other than the Evolvers Nest Preschool, also you have left a great mark on the landscape of Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar. You have been the founder, president of CIIWN. You have you have been a trustee at Taramati Bafna Blind School. So how do you see and balance the social side of your work and your life and the actual work part of your life?
So Taramati Bafna Blind School was founded by my great-grandfather-in-law 40 years ago. And after that, my father-in-law was taking care of it. And after him, me and my husband are taking care of it. So as a trustee, I often visit Taramati Bafna Blind School and it really inspires me a lot to have those vision of inclusion in education, wherein I feel that every child has the right for education. And here we inspire each and every child to shine, to have the confidence for their life. And in spite of their speciality, they are doing good in their lives. And this is what drives me for the social cause also. And I also like to be social everywhere. Every child has the right for education, despite of having any kind of special need.
You spoke about inclusion and the right to education for all. What would be that one message for the parents and for the students across the city that you would like to give as an educator?
So, as an educator, I would like to give the message to all the parents that in today's scenario, everyone is busy. Like the father is busy, the mother is busy, in the house, everyone is busy. And unintentionally, the kids are left out and they are more glued to the screen. What we need is to give the quality time to the kids. That is very, very important. Kids don't need any expensive gadgets or any expensive toys. What they need is the time spent. So we should laugh, we should play, and we should go around with the kids. And that is what all they need. Let me tell you that out of 100 kids nowadays, 5 kids are ADHD, they are autistic, and that is all because of the screens what they are watching. So it's my humble request to all the parents to not allow their kids to have the screen. And in fact, even you should not use screens in front of the kids because you are the role model for them. And so that we brighten the shape and we brighten the future of the kids. Thank you so much.
Amazing. I think we've had a very wonderful conversation at the wow factor, and I couldn't be more happy to have done this with my mom. So thank you, and thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Muskan ma'am. Thank you.